Stand and do the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. So this is our first meeting of this select board after our last March election. Mr. Dorn, he's our new selectman. Congratulations. And I think Chad also won a seat, so congratulations. At this point, we're going to take nominations for your board chair. Do we have any nominations?
I'll nominate Bob Richards as the chair.
Bob Richards been nominated. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Do we have a second? Any other nominations? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Didn't sound like it. Congratulations.
Bob sitting there saying,
What? Thank you, I think. No, it's always a pleasure, it really is. So, this next thing we do in the reorganization is set the day and time for the meetings.
Clerk or
Oh yeah, we need a clerk, but it's not on there, but we do need a clerk.
I nominate Glenn Travis as the clerk.
I will second that.
Any other nominations? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay.
thanks for the opportunity there, Rich.
As I said before, now we gotta set the, the time and day for our meetings. They have been Tuesday for quite some time. Anybody got any ideas?
I'd make a motion to continue forth with every other Tuesday at 7 p.m.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thanks.
Done and done.
And the board rules, which you got a copy of in your, packet this week. Does anybody have any comments or questions on that? Not hearing anybody, I'd entertain a motion to accept them.
I'll make a motion to accept the rules as written.
Second?
Second.
Any other questions, comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
And designate the paper of record.
Make a motion to have the Lakes Region Free Press as our paper record, the same one.
Second.
Is that the Lakes Region Free Press is the one we get in the mail, right?
Yeah.
Well,
But it's never in there.
no, it's in, but I keep reading the Lakes Region Free Press here. It's not the one the chamber puts out, it's the other free press, because the most recent one had West Rutland's minutes, our minutes are there. The select board minutes are in. I think one is, I call one the free press and the other the,
It's a polling, it's a
what's,
One is Lakeside News.
Lakeside.
Lakeside
that's-
News.
That's
That's the one that puts the board minutes.
then okay, now let me modify my motion here, I'll make a motion that we continue to use the Lakeside News as our paper of record.
Second.
It was
Is
the
that-
Free Press, I think you're using.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we are using we are using,
The only one of those two papers I ever consistently can read for even select board minutes has not been in the free press.
no.
Just so you understand, and
The free press is not the one that comes in your mailbox every week?
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
That, and the one that the minutes are consistently in is in the other,
It isn't the minutes that we're worried about, it's public notices.
It's when we post like if you sell properties and stuff or something. It goes
Or, you know,
so
a meeting or.
so our paper of record for public notices, just wanna make sure because
So what's the name of it?
it's the Free Press, the Lakes Region Free Press. It basically has advertisements in it.
Is it the Lakes Region or the Lakeside?
Lakes Region.
Lakes Region, so I guess we're back again. Let me clean it all up one more time.
Lakes?
Good, see now we had the second we could talk about it, because I think we're doing ourselves a disservice, and we may wanna consider, this is the time where you talk about it. I'm not happy with what I've seen in the Free Press as doing a good job of covering, communicating what we should have. So if it isn't, if we're not gonna make it the other one, I'd be interested in your discussion around, do you put it in do you make another paper of record for our notices? Do we use the Rutland Herald?
We can.
We used to.
It just has to be something in general circulation, so that way we can say.
You don't wanna use the Rutland Herald?
I know of 5 people in town that actually read the Rutland Herald aside from the obituaries.
But
I read the one that comes in my mailbox every week, so that one's.
That's the Lake Region
That's
Free
why,
Press?
that's
Okay.
kinda why we went.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean,
That's-
I
I don't go
just,
searching for anything
And
else.
I
It
kinda
comes to
like
me
seeing
and
the
I.
minutes in that one also.
once in a great while, they'll put the minutes in.
I've never seen them in there.
Oh, you've never seen it in the Free
Not the
Press?
Free Press, I get it every week and
I was just gonna say, and maybe, can we start sending the minutes to the Free Press and get them?
I'm not sure, well, they can or they can't.
If that's the
They may
paper,
not do it for us.
the only reason I'm saying, if that's the paper our taxpayers are mostly reading,
Yes.
let's put it in the paper they're mostly reading. That's all. The whole idea is to communicate, and we heard at our town meeting that we don't communicate very well. That could be one of the reasons. That's all. So I'll come back again. I know, too highly caffeinated for
confused.
tonight. I'll make the motion that our paper of record is the Lake Region Free Press.
Second.
Thank you.
Lake Region Free Press.
Right, made in Granville, New York, right. And mailed to all citizens,
It's in your mailbox.
it's in your mailbox, yeah. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? And certainly can put that on the agenda for a discussion at some point as well, too. It doesn't have to stay there, is what I'm saying, but that's where we've been for a while, and that's,
Okay.
but anyways, let's move on. Meeting with the RC Flyers. Hi, folks.
There they are.
Good evening. Thank you so much for allocating us some time to address the board. First, let me start by saying thank you so much for the last year and the many years of past of permission to use the airfield. We're quite a close club. We enjoy each other's company, and it really is something for us to enjoy and look forward to each week. Having said that, we'd like to address the board tonight and ask for another year of permission to hold our flying club out at the Fairhaven field that, that where we fly. And we'd like to keep things as we always have. I'd like one of our officers, Pete, to talk about the donations that will continue, that are in the budget, that we have each year, that we will continue. Pete?
Sure. Thank you, Steve.
Yeah.
My name is Pete Galligan, in case you don't know me personally. I'm the secretary for the Rutland County RC Flyers, and this is my 13th year as a member of the club. Each year we donate to a charitable organization in Fairhaven, and we have a rotating donation among the EMS, fire, and police. So we do both of those things. I do have one quick question for the board, and we have been donating year after year to Fairhaven Concerned, and I understand they're now Slate Valley Cares. Is the basic mission of that organization the same as what Fairhaven Concerned used to be, as far as your understanding of it?
Yeah, I think that their thought process is that they serve more than just the Fairhaven community, so that's why they changed their name.
I understood. So they broaden their scope just a little bit. And I just wanted to mention before I turn it back to you, Steve, that our club is a longtime member of a parent organization called the Academy of Model Aeronautics. They're located in Indiana. They're a national organization that helps clubs like ours promote and educate the public about model aviation and the opportunities that it presents. And each of our club members are AMA members, and that gives each member additional liability insurance, as well as adhering to the AMA safety code. So we don't fly over people, buildings, vehicles or anything that you could deem as unsafe. Safety is our biggest concern. And that's about all I have.
Great.
But,
Great. Roger, any words that you'd like to mention that we might have missed?
No.
Okay, great. Folks, I'd like to bring up one last, with your permission. The road that is parallels our runway is worse than a minefield going over for the last, really bad. So what the cars have done is they've used our runway for a road because some of the potholes are literally 6-8 inches deep. With your permission, we've budgeted for that, to fix that road so that so we don't have the same people after we, do our maintenance of our runway, each spring, so they just don't drive right back over it, then we're just kind of chasing our tails. So we budgeted quite a bit of money to have those potholes filled, put SurePack on the top, and level it, roll it, and get the road back to what it's normally has been. So that's also another request. I think that would help the city. I don't even know if that's a public road, but it's used very infrequently, but enough. They just drive out once out and they sink down into our runway. It's one too many. So if that's okay, also requesting another year of utilizing the field for our hobby would certainly be greatly appreciated amongst our members. And I think that's, and again, thank you for the many years. We really enjoy it out there. Thank you.
I would entertain a motion.
Well, before a motion, I just have some questions.
Yes, sir.
And one, because we as a board, and I know I'm catching you blind, so bear with me, but good to have the conversation. We're trying to raise different revenues for the town. We've gone as far as at the events we have, trying to get a certain amount of money from each of the vendors and everything. I know you mentioned that you donate some monies, and I'm more, it's a question for you and the other board members, but I'm saying it costs us, we put in $2,700 is it costs us in expenses to, right now for it's up there. So looking to see, question back at your group, would you be interested in paying to help with the upkeep? On the same line as
Sure.
what you were just describing was Munger Road. I look at that, and if my feeling, as much as I think we need revenue, that's a class 4 road that I don't know, I don't want to step into it. If you're talking Munger Road, that shouldn't have a gate in front of it. That it's a class 4 road that it isn't unreasonable for the town to take and grade that thing once, like any other class 4 road, once a year. You don't have to. But I'm saying, the money that you put in for grading that, I'd rather see that in a, whether it's $1,000 or something, as it's gonna help offset the cost of, we run, because we have the Fur Haven Dog Park up there, so we have water. We have the bathroom that works up there that I'm sure
Understood.
is open for everyone. I'm saying, I bet there's an opportunity we can work together to help.
Right.
We're not looking to make money, we're just trying to break even at the airport, just a lot like what everyone else is. I didn't know what the rest of the board members think on that, before we make a motion and start jumping in there.
Well, I mean, the road does need, once a year, it does need repair. So that would be part, if they're offering to do that. And the donation, I'm not sure, your donation to the police and the rescue squad, was it the rescue squad, oh, no.
yeah, police, fire, and EMS.
The fire,
Right.
those are both entities, they're town entities that should take some money out, or should be in their revenue end of things, correct? I mean, for me, that would be good enough.
I look to earmark monies coming from them to help offset the cost of keeping the airport looking. That's because that's what And I think that's what you're looking, it's
That's
a
where
great
we're
place to
heading,
go,
yes,
that's
sir.
the direction we're heading in. So I'm just going, and I don't know, when I say $1,000, I don't know, is it $2,000? The reason I threw 1,000 out is because that's what with the fireworks people out here, they give $1,000 to the general, is it the general fund?
Yeah, $1,000 per goes right to general.
To the general fund. So I'm saying, well, wait a minute, take $1,000 and that $1,000 in the general fund, but thinking in terms of, okay, what's it cost us? Right now, there is zero revenue in our budget for up at the airport, but we have expenses in excess of
Can I
$2,000.
break in here just for a quick minute?
Mm-hmm.
I think we're talking about two different areas for the roadway. I
Okay,
think the roadway this gentleman's talking about is the original big airplane runway where they go out and up. You're not talking.
he calls that a road, okay. So I'm talking Munger
He's
Road,
not talking about Munger Road.
where you have a locked fence.
I feel Munger Road should be open also.
Absolutely, I don't think they should be coming down the
And that's where the traffic
runway.
should go up Munger Road and then swing into a parking area.
Exactly,
Cause I was up there yesterday, it's all rutted up, that airport runway.
exactly.
Bad.
Could I just, Roger Smith here, could I just quickly ask exactly what is Munger Road?
You know where you go up Airport Road and you turn and go up around the pavilion, there's a set of gates.
There's a red gate,
Munger Road goes straight.
goes right straight up to,
along the tree line.
Yeah.
Right,
That's Munger
yeah.
Road.
that's Munger Road.
That's the end of Munger Road.
See, that's not-
Then it becomes after the runway, up on the north end,
Right.
and then it goes up to Sheldon.
Wait.
Could I just throw in something here that we did get, we're only talking about the airport strip, not Munger Road. We don't use it. We can't, it's not usable for us. We're only talking about the runway
It
strip.
parallels, right?
And everybody uses
That's why I
it.
wanted to clear that up.
Yeah, but
That's what
Okay.
everybody's using now.
Yeah, and
why it's such bad shape.
that's not gonna change.
When they closed Munger Road, I come back, and that, it's another total issue. Munger Road is a class 4 road that should be open, that we're working with been working for 3 years now to get that gate unlocked in Munger Road.
Right.
And what I'm basically interested, because when I look at how your runway and everything, it seems like it makes more sense if Munger Road was an open, not gated, to just come down Munger Road, pull in, is the ideal situation.
Yes.
We've been cobbing it up by driving down a runway that shouldn't be driven down, that's got, in my opinion, that's got,
It wouldn't be the maintenance.
because they drive down the runway and around, and it must be a nightmare when you're trying to fly
It is.
with people coming out into where you're, so I'm,
Yeah, we have spotters and they literally,
And right now-
responsibility if someone's pulling in.
And right now, it's in such bad shape, and Steve, he did get one estimate from a fellow that he knows, an excavator, that gave us an estimate of $1,000 just to get
Just to grade it.
that road usable for us.
Then we have to sure pack it, which is about $500, and then roll it, so it just doesn't wash away with the next rain. But the allocations where we budget and so forth, how we do that, we're very open to.
and again, I was just curious because Munger Road, again, class 4 road, shouldn't be expecting any private citizens to be taking care of it. It's a class 4 road. We either choose to take care of it, and we're, like the statute says, once a year, run a grader. We have other class 4 roads that we do that to. I gotta believe it's a better situation than coming in, driving down the runway and coming around for you
100%
folks.
for us, yeah.
And so, again,
So in the immediate, how can we help with the runway? And rather than them expensing out runway expenses, they can help offset some of the cost of the actual area while we take care of the runway. Is that-
exactly, if that means we take our town crew, and we come up and we take a load of crew of gravel and cup it off with the equipment, the potholes are gone in the short term. The long term, again, was, we had, 2 years ago, we decided that isn't a trail, it's a class 4 road, and it seems to have stalled in Montpelier. I'm not blaming you.
Thanks.
We went up to Montpelier, and it did its usual round and round, and they're struggling to get back and get their paperwork in line. but hopefully we get that resolved this year.
Okay, well, we've got two different issues kind of going.
But what they're asking is to use, what I hear you saying is, use for RC Flyers.
Yes.
And that, if you want a motion to use that, do we tie in the fact of,
We certainly can.
because my motion would be we approve I'll make a motion that we approve the use of the RC Flyers again this year, and there's $1,000 stipend that goes, and that will, if the police need something, if the whatever, let them decide, where, take the pressure right off you, which one, who had it last or whatever. Let's get who needs what. So my
You got all
motion
that?
is, no, but my motion is that we approve the RC Flyers for next year with $1,000 stipend.
Got it.
So would this, just so that we're clear here, would this be instead of donating to the various town,
That's the
Charities?
that's the way I
What-
understand it.
that would be perfect.
I would go with that. I never want to discourage anyone. If you want to donate to charities on
Sure.
top of that, go right ahead.
Yeah.
But I'm saying this $1,000,
Would help.
we could use it to cover the gravel that's filling the pot, whatever. There's stuff that goes on with the water, now that we have the bathrooms, the water on now, and we're tying it all in, and we fully expect that should be something that people get to use.
And we budget for that each to pay out in the spring, every,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Is
out
it,
in March or whatever.
is there a
Just a
second? Okay. Okay, any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Great. Last question then, for us to send in a check we were gonna use for that, who would that go to, Joe?
Town of Fairhaven.
Okay, right
It'll
to
just
you.
go right to the front, well, it'll go to the front office, Town of Fairhaven's fine.
Yes, sir.
It'll get
Okay.
here.
That's a great solution, folks.
And the last item,
Kinda
so I
helps us
don't
a
leave
little
you
bit.
walking out of here wondering what's going on with the potholes, right there. Separate from that motion, are we going to go up and put some gravel well, I don't even know if you need gravel, we got a grader. Do you run the grader,
So-
do you grade?
Why don't we run the grader first and then
See what
go
you
from
got.
there? And if you need to put,
I think the problem
Gravel
there
or
is
whatever.
there's no base left.
No.
It wasn't intended to be a
so
road.
does our grader? Do we have a roller on our grader? No.
We have just a grader,
All right.
it's just grader, but we have a roller too.
And I think that's a good start. Let's see what it looks like after that.
Yeah. So start with that, and then if it needs gravel on top of that, then we
And then
bring some gravel.
if we, see if we can concentrate on Munger.
Yeah, and then
At some
we'll
point.
continue working
We
Munger,
don't give up yet.
but you're doing a good job, we keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
You've
In the
been-
last 2
you've
years,
been-
we've been rained out from our fly-in that generates quite a bit of money for the club. So
Mm-hmm.
hopefully this year, and so we'll have the additional funds for the continuing year.
Right.
Good enough. Well, thanks, you've been a good,
Thank
you've
you,
been
folks.
good
Let me
neighbors.
tell you
Thank you.
how much
Very
it
much.
means to us.
That's a better solution than we even envisioned.
Yeah, that's right. I think we'll stick around.
All right,
You're more than
you're
welcome.
more than welcome to do it. It gets more exciting, it gets more exciting.
Thank you.
It really does, honestly.
Come visit us.
Yeah.
That's a good solution, yeah. Amendments to the agenda.
No, sir.
Anyone? Moving right along. Approval of the minutes of February 20th. It seems like a long time ago.
Motion to approve the February 20th minutes as written.
Second? I'll second that.
Thank you. Additions, deletions, corrections?
Just a couple. Page 2 under economic development, where it said Mr. Greeno, it should be Mr. Travers. They've got you, Rich, on the economic development committee, which we can do. But I just wanted to make sure the minutes were.
Where are you?
On the bottom of page 2 under economic development committee appointment, where it said Mr. Greeno reported, Seal Hunt is our newest member, just Mr. Travis there. On page 3, under small business revolving loan, it said Mr. Greeno reported the EDC approved the revolving loan. That should be Mr. Travers. And I'm,
Know where my brain was.
no, I just, but I think we were doing a lot of stuff, and I just said, I just wanted the record to reflect it. I'm good with those changes.
Everybody good with those changes? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you.
Who seconded that? That's him. And you're Mr. Travers.
I can be, it's,
We should get little, I got one of those things. Okay. 5 minutes for public comment. Rosie, you're shy. You usually don't have anything.
Gentlemen, thank you again for your service to the community. It does not go unrecognized. I'm wondering, obviously after the vote, you see that I am not the only one with the concerns that I've voiced several times over the last year. My question now is, are you gonna listen to your voters? Or are you gonna try to push through with this project as is?
We talked about, the last time we talked, at the town meeting, we talked about doing some modifications. I think that, if I remember correctly, that was the kind of the feeling going away from that there was, we'd have some discussion about modifications and where we could do different things, but if we can get the money together, we'd like to do the project, but not necessarily as it looks now. Maybe there's some ways to do different things with it, but yeah.
I was just wondering, I got to thinking the other day, when Du Bois and King was given the project, was awarded the project, did the board give them specifics that you were looking to do, or did you just say, here, see what you can do with it? I mean, I don't know.
No, of course not.
there was multiple back and forth.
There was a lot of
modifications and can I jump in for a minute? And because it's one where at our Economic Development Committee meeting, we actually put the sidewalks as an agenda item to say, because we deal with the businesses, all of the businesses as well, to make sure that we're talking as we're moving forward to see, heard some of the concerns, but we want to even have some more discussion and maybe, I think it's going to, personally, my personal feeling is, I'd like to see, the project's important, needs to go forward. Does it have to go forward exactly like the print is showing right now? I know there's concern about how close you can park, and the number of parking spaces seemed like the biggest concerns. I think there's a lot of room for tweaking as we're going forward. We're still trying, I think we're trying to get funding in place. But absolutely, and I'd like to think we always listen when people are talking to us. I can't sit here and guarantee where you're gonna end up, because there's a lot of
I think
variables.
the problem is that you missed the initial meetings and the initial public hearings that we had. So you would have,
You went to one.
those, but
I
it's
went to
not,
only the one that I knew about.
oh, come on, okay, you didn't know about it, but there was plenty of advertisement and all that kind of stuff. And we had a big ice cream social in the park, do you remember that?
No.
Yeah, that was the original one. That was with the Downtown Development Committee, who wanted to get, and they got together, they gave us basic suggestions, and from those suggestions, we got Du Bois and King and went the next step.
Okay.
And the whole idea, as we've talked, and I don't wanna spend a lot of time, but it's traffic calming. It's really to slow down traffic and make both sides of the community of the downtown feel like they're part of downtown. So that's the whole idea, and how we do that is certainly worth talking about again.
As several others were talking at the pre-town meeting, and as I mentioned several times, safety, seriously, I gotta cross the street every day. At that crosswalk, yeah, I mean, it's dangerous. I understand that, so definitely. Beautifying the redoing the sidewalks, repaving them, or however you're planning on fixing them, awesome. Beautifying it. This is what everybody agrees on. These are the things everybody agrees on. Everybody wants the town to be beautiful. And anybody who was downtown last summer, Art and from the bistro and from the pot shop there on the corner. Yeah, from Cloud9. They put up lots of flowers, and the brewery did all that. That north end of downtown was fantastic. It was
It's
gorgeous.
beautiful coming up over that hill, seeing that.
It was absolutely
And even,
gorgeous.
like you said, I remember my parents had a storefront 20 years ago, and they planted all those trees, and most of them are dead or been cut down. So
They were never taken care of. And just for the record, when we do take the trees out, it has been voiced to me that we need to do something with those dedication
Absolutely.
stones.
We know.
Already covered.
It's
Okay, I
been
didn't
discussed.
know if anybody had,
Oh, yeah.
It's my understanding they're gonna be in place into the new sidewalk, incorporated into the new sidewalk.
Yeah.
that would be really cool. But anyway, everybody agrees, we want Fairhaven downtown to just be gorgeous. We just don't want to give up the parking to do it.
You're gonna give up some. You're gonna have to at some part of it. My opinion, but we will see how it goes, and we'll see what the compromise is. I'm more than willing to listen to other
I think
ideas.
there's a way to get more parking and still beautify it.
I think
my opinion.
we can do that. I think that's possible. We just have to sit down and talk about it, that's all.
Are you gonna have like,
And one of the things we should, you made an equation at the town meeting about not counting handicap parking as parking. Well, it absolutely is, and it absolutely is part of the parking.
but it's restricted.
So what?
It's restricted,
It
which
doesn't,
means
well,
that,
I don't want, yeah.
Mr. Chairman, we're spending a lot of
Yeah,
time
yeah.
talking in
We
5 minutes.
we should do this as a hearing or public meeting or as an item on the agenda. So we
I'm sorry, I
don't,
was surprised it wasn't. That's the only reason I brought it up. And
okay, we will do that soonly.
yes, please.
All right, any other, Mr.?
Those of you who don't know me, I'm Sean Galvin. I came tonight to ask the board to try to put your heads together and see what can be done about the taxes. This time of year, I walk around my teeth gritted together. I think a majority of the taxpayers in Fairhaven are not educated on what happens and where the tax money goes. And a good example of that is, once again, the taxpayers voted to donate money to Rutland Regional Ambulance. And it's because on the ballot, it says, shall we appropriate whatever amount to Rutland Regional Ambulance? Taxpayers see the ambulance, they go, yes. I'm sure you all, you have a horrible job. Believe me, I know, you have a horrible job. You're trying to deal with the budget, and then the taxpayers vote yes to every charitable organization that ends up on the ballot. Our property taxes were designed for public safety and infrastructure. There was approximately $170,000 that passed that was not public safety or infrastructure. And something's gotta give. If nothing else, I'd like to see what we can do about requiring organizations to get the proper number of petition signatures to be on the ballot. Because it's my understanding, like Rutland Regional didn't even have to do that. But I personally don't think that's gonna solve the problem, because the voters in Fairhaven, you've got 20 to 30 people that go to the town meeting, and those are the people that are educated and informed about what's going on. Then you have 500 other people that go, yes, 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 and all of our taxes go up, rents go up. It's driving the taxpayers out of the area. The retired folks, the kids are graduating high school and college, they're leaving. So we're driving out people that are paying the taxes. The only thing I could possibly think of, and maybe you all can get your heads together and come up with another idea, some towns vote on items other than elected officials and the town budget, but the add-on things are voted on the floor at the town meetings. And if people are passionate enough and want those things, they ought to be able to get their butts to the town meetings and discuss it, where we can lay it on the table right before they vote on it, what this is and what this means. Because I'm telling you, it's gonna, everybody votes yes on everything. It's absolutely ridiculous, and something is going to give. I don't know if that's possible. I know other towns, like Benson, they vote on the add-ons like that, $170,000 donated to charitable organizations that we do. And these are great organizations, don't get me wrong, you know, but they're not intended to be funded by our property taxes. And you are driving people, not you, but it's all over the place. It's driving the taxpayers out of the state. I never thought I'd leave Vermont. I'm actually considering it. The taxes are outrageous, and they're going to get worse if we don't do something. So I don't know if anybody has any other ideas, but is it possible to go back to voting on the floor of the town meetings for the charitable things? I think that would be the best solution. I don't know if it's ever gonna happen, because it's probably gonna have to go on the ballot, and people that don't wanna go to town meetings aren't gonna wanna do it, but.
That was the argument of getting away from that, because we used to do that.
Yeah, I remember.
But the argument was that there was too many people that couldn't make the town meetings, whether they worked nights or whatever it was, so they put it on. Actually, I think Jay Brown spearheaded that.
Didn't one of the towns, I can't remember, voted it, I think Benson was looking to do their town meeting on Saturday because that was a concern. People couldn't make it.
That is correct. Benson changed.
Voted to do the town meeting on Saturdays so more people could be involved in that.
There's always gonna be somebody that gets their nose bent and can't make it. It's the way of life, but we've got to do something. Because people are complaining you can't fix a sidewalk. Well, geez, you just spent $170,000 on charitable organizations. Of course you can't fix a sidewalk, you don't have any money left. You know, and again, not that these organizations are bad, they do some great things, but, well, then put a donation jar, or after you vote, have a table off to the side, and the people voting can write a check to these organizations. Because something has got to give. It's driving people out of the town, and it's driving the people that are paying the taxes out of the town. So I don't know. I just thought I'd mention it, and if nothing else, make it so people have to do a petition. But that's not going to solve it. I'm telling you right now, it's not going to solve it. Because, like I said, there's 20 or 30 people that go to the town meetings, and then the next day 500 people vote, and they just go yes, 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 yes. Maybe educate people. I know at one point the board tried to put out, if you vote yes to this, it's gonna make the taxes go up. And somebody got their nose all bent over it. I think that's a great thing to do. Why would you get your nose bent? You should know what's gonna happen to your taxes if you vote yes. You know, we should be advertising what happens. But anyway, that's why I came tonight. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, and then, I don't know, good input, Sean, but I know we spend a lot on appropriations. I don't know the question you have of can you vote it on the floor? Maybe that's gonna look, because I know, like Castleton looks like they do some line item voting. the taxpayers vote on everything. Some towns, they do floor voting. I don't know if you can do a piece of one, or you have to do, the vote from the floor or Australian ballot. I don't know the rules.
I do know that some
That-
towns, like Benson is a good example, the elected officials are voted by ballot like we do. But the items that are add-ons, the Fairhaven Concern, or Slate Valley, the donating money to the Rutland Regional Ambulance, and it doesn't say donated. You know, that's the other thing that kind of fries me. I bet you 90% of the people that voted yes did not know that they're giving money to another city's ambulance. We have an ambulance. You know, and I bet some of the people, some of you on the select board, probably did not know that. But if the way you read that, says shall the town appropriate. And there's all these charitable organizations, you know, if I was gonna write a donation to these organizations, I could write it off of my taxes. I can't do that now, you know, you're taking my tax money, but I can't write it off of my income tax. You know, it's ridiculous, and something's going to give.
We had some good spirited discussion about appropriations and our appropriation policy. Still more to follow on that, so we'll make sure when we talk again, it'll be on an agenda item, and I really would welcome you or anyone else who's come and help as we talk this.
Does anybody know what it would take to make it so we voted on the floor for the add-on?
You'd have to get a petition up, to go back, then it would have to be voted on the ballot
Well,
next
they'll vote
year.
yes, they don't even read the thing, they vote yes, so.
Well,
I can do that.
that's a very good possibility, and there would have to be, I think just one time vote, but it would be, then he would go another year, and that's second year you would have that. And I think, the way we did it before was it was all money, we did all the money appropriations at that time. We did the town budget, we couldn't do the school budget, and we may have done the grade school budget. I'm not sure, but now that's all combined, so it would definitely be the town budget and any appropriations that the town is liable for.
I wonder if we could do the town budget by regular ballot, if, like you said, if it is possible.
To do mix and match.
Because it's not like I'm trying to exclude anybody from having a say in where their tax dollars are spent, but if you're so much in support of all these charities that we donate to, then get your butt to the town meeting.
I would suggest that a private citizen, rather than the board, do that petition with the input from the Secretary of State and the town clerk.
Okay.
Because you want to get it right. The one thing we were talking about just before, Rosie's talking about, the way it was written, it became an advisory. So you don't want that. You want it to be a direct.
And again, you guys have a horrible job. I appreciate that you take the time to do this, but 90% of the people you talk to are probably unhappy, you know? And you're trying to do a budget and take care of the town and pay for things, and then 500 taxpayers vote to donate the money, our tax dollars away. You know, so it's gotta be terrible.
Well, it's not for health. I wear a mask at Shaw's.
Okay.
Anyway, thank you.
Good, thanks.
Thanks, Steve.
Listen,
Anyone else? That's about it for department head reports. Mike, too late. I saw you.
Everything actually is going very well for the water department. The major leaks that we've had, the airport roads, the one on furnace, we've drastically come down on our water production, therefore chemicals and all that. So,
Why do you think that is?
I don't know.
That time of year?
We're not watering the worms maybe, or,
Yeah.
but,
We certainly didn't have to use water last summer, that's for sure.
folks in Florida.
And I did have a question, since it's March and coming into construction season, have you been in touch with the roofing company to schedule our new roof?
I talked to him today, in fact, he said, early mid-April, so you got 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks.
Can I ask
Go
a
ahead.
question for you? We had the thing in the mail, maybe on the lead pipe, checking with the water coming in, and I don't know, I took the app on my phone, and then was able to send an email in. Picture didn't go that well, but I was just curious, are you getting many calls for help to go respond to that, or any calls? Because we have until, I think, fall to get it done, but I was wondering if we were getting any.
Or October, I'm sorry.
Right.
Aldridge and Elliott have been selected to do that. It has nothing to do with Fairhaven's water department at this point.
Yeah, there's a number on the bottom of it to
And if I do get a phone call, I tell them, because we have nothing to do with that at this point. I have forwarded Joe some of the information. We have, once this is all done, it was what, 10 years to fix and replace all lead lines. The lead goosenecks, as they were dug up, needed to be repaired.
So if someone, again, I'm just, because I want to make sure I give people the right information. If I'm sitting there and I don't have the latest app and can't, and I don't know what's there, I call the number on the bottom.
Yep.
Aldridge and Elliott comes out, they don't call the water department to come down and help out, we pay for that service.
They're getting paid.
yeah,
from the state.
yeah, they have the number on the bottom, so they're
Okay,
Yeah, I mean, this was a.
I mean, they were very good when I used the
Right.
app, they sent me an email, even though I didn't get the picture there, they sent an email back saying I got it.
Yeah,
So,
no,
I mean, it
this was a
worked.
large,
I gotta do that.
was it a loan, forgivable loan?
Big forgivable loan.
You know, so you're talking 100 and some grand that they've got to do this job. If you wanna give me 100 grand, I'll be more than glad to go to the.
I just would be, I'd be,
Scrape the lead.
Yeah,
that hopefully they will, if it's due in October, don't wait till September, 29th to say
Right, and that's-
three-quarters of
that's
your
why we're
town,
doing it
three-quarters of your town hasn't checked for their lead pipes yet. Will there be a check-in time?
yeah.
I suspect that we can check with those guys, but I bet they're gonna follow up with people who haven't.
I know I never got one, and I know we're doing them down in Poland. I never got the thing in the mail because
Oh, really?
I would have done it
Yeah.
working
second.
for the water.
didn't-
people. I would have done it in a heartbeat.
I haven't done it yet. I keep forgetting to do it.
Well, for somebody that changed out roughly about 600 meters in this town, there are very few.
Most of them are good, are
They're all
compliant, aren't
galvanized.
they?
It's all, well, if they're not copper already, they're galvanized.
Yeah.
Off the top of my head, I can't tell you of one definitive lead service
Yeah.
line coming into a house. There may be a couple of them out there, that I just can't remember off the top of my head, but for Fairhaven, we're in pretty good shape.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Questions for Mike? Did you talk to Mike about that ladder?
No, I didn't. It's on
At
another
the
line.
south tank?
Yes.
There's a ladder.
Yeah,
I think you should maybe cover it up with a piece of plywood, certain amount of height up, so kids don't climb up on it.
I have been in contact with Joe for 5 years now,
At least.
and about getting an official OSHA-approved safety ladder there,
Okay.
and it's always money.
Well, I think the one you got there is
But that
okay.
is not, because there's no fall protection, there's nothing up on top.
Okay,
That's an old fire ladder, extension fire ladder.
okay.
And
Then we shouldn't use it at all then.
exactly, but we have to have access to get to the
Yeah.
top.
Well, I don't think you should leave it there. Kids go up there all the time.
We can take it down.
Yeah,
And
and
when we
chain it
have it up there,
to a tree or something.
it used to be, but it takes 5 guys to lift that
Oh, it's a big
thing.
guy, yeah, I know.
So we left it up there, and this was back when we were installing our new telemetry and all that
Yep.
stuff. So we were up and down that ladder, for 3 weeks,
Yeah.
2 or 3 times a day.
Well, I don't, I
And
just
we just
happen.
never took it down just because we were up there, and then it was, okay, this works, and we.
Yeah, I just happened to be up, I just took a walk up there.
Yeah, no, Jeff and I can go up and take it down tomorrow.
Yeah, I didn't chain it to a
Bring it around
tree.
the, bring it around to the other side. And
Just so
chain it,
some,
but we've
it's
got-
a, I think they call that an attractive nuisance.
Yeah. Between Joe and myself, we've got what, at least 2, if not 3 bids or quotes. So it's time to
Yeah.
get it.
Oh, so you gotta have the rack around it?
You gotta have the
Yeah.
cage up
Yeah.
on top, the
Yeah.
gate around the hatch.
Well,
And it's gotta be an official,
Yeah.
but it
Right.
just,
If OSHA was to come in, what would the fine be for that?
probably 60,000-70,000.
yeah.
And what's the ladder cost? The proper ladder?
40.
Right, so I mean, you're looking, do you want to pay a $70,000?
40,000?
I think that's what the last one was, but I would have.
That stuff's
That
expensive.
seems like a lot.
That's expensive. Well, it's expensive and it's the necessary. So do
But
you
you're
want?
also-
Do you
Well,
want?
one's better than the other.
Right. Do you want a $70,000 OSHA violation, or do you want to pay the $40,000 for the proper ladder? I mean, and even the ladder you have now, if you fall and get hurt, that's on us for not following proper safety procedures.
Right.
And
And the problem, and one reason it is gonna be so expensive, Bob, is that's a pre-stressed concrete tank.
Yeah.
So you just can't drill lug nuts into, or anchors
Yeah.
into
right.
it and bolt it on.
Of course not.
You have to pour footings, not touch the side, and, anchor it up on
And I can
top.
tell you, being in the water and wastewater department, there's some places we go in Polly that I wouldn't want to go down a sketchy step ladder or extension ladder. I want the proper safety equipment. And we had Vermont World Water come do a safety walk through all our sites and kind of bring up that stuff.
Don't we have money in our water reserve fund for something like that?
There should be a little bit there. We
Boy,
spent
don't
a
we-
ton on the interior and then on the roof too.
Why don't we get that
Let's-
done? Because,
I agree because
because I think it's very important.
I second that.
We'll get the quotes to the board at the next meeting.
I was thinking, we've done our homework on it, I guess it's just,
And
instead of just having the paperwork sitting on a desk somewhere, it's time to, I guess, go forward.
and sometime in the near future, I'd like to come up and get a tour of the water plant and
Oh,
everything. if
absolutely. Where somebody's there 7 days a week.
that's- Okay, perfect.
Pretty nice up there.
You're gonna like it.
I mean,
Mr. Chair,
You'll know more than the rest of us.
you got Sean.
I don't know.
Just a note to that, you can be not in line with OSHA requirements and not get fined if you have a written plan that you've identified that there is a problem and what you're planning to do to mitigate the problem. For instance, you could require whoever climbs it to wear a harness with 2 clip points where they climb, clip, unclip this, unclip this, even though it's not an OSHA ladder, and you could avoid a fine that way. And in your response to why you're not following the OSHA guidelines, let them know what your plan is to mitigate the hazard. So that might, in the meantime,
bias them.
be something that, if you're worried about getting an OSHA fine, this could avoid you getting an OSHA.
Thank you for that.
Mhm.
Appreciate that.
It has been addressed, it is a accident waiting to happen.
Yeah, well, let's do something about it. I didn't realize it was that much of a problem. Sorry I brought it up. Not really.
It's not what you-
Not really.
It has been thought of and looked into, it's just, there's been other things, roof leaks, or this needs to be done, or that needs to be done, and kind of out of sight, out of mind, it's up on top of a hill, it's south end of town, and nobody sees it.
Okay, anything else from Mike? Thanks.
Welcome. And I'm gonna sneak out and put my little one to bed.
Have a good night.
Enjoy.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Mr. Town Manager, you're up.
We're gonna police.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We're gonna do the chief.
How could I miss you?
So, I did the 2-week report in your box.
Yeah.
In the last 2 weeks, we had 2 arrests, one was for aggravated domestic assault, where a girl stabbed her husband in the shoulder. The other was for retail theft from Maplefield's. We wrote 98 traffic tickets in the last 2 weeks for 337 for the year, 47 written warnings, 5 parking violations, and we had 2 car crashes. Issued 9 overweight permits. We did 6 sets of civilian fingerprints. I put a brief review in there of some of the highlights in the report. We had 228 calls for service in 2 weeks, and we were at 785 for the year. On the 9th, we got the pleasure of doing an escort again for the girls basketball championship. It was well received. People came out even though it was nasty, rain, snow. We actually get a special honor, and it just feels really good to do that. The fire department likes it, Castle PD comes out, they like it. It's just really, I think it's good for the community. The kids will never forget it. So I did a brief review of approximate revenue. This is what, not exact science, is what we keep up there. Couple things that I wanted to touch on is the National Sheriff's Association donated 2 ballistic helmets to the police department. Corporal Hunter every year writes a grant through them. Last year we got the big shield for making entry in the buildings or for active shooters or for students. This year he got us 2 helmets. Next year he's gonna try to get 2 more so we start having them in the cars. And then as far as the car update, VLCT's rep deemed the Impala to be totaled. The estimate we had was less than what they said they would give us. So they're gonna give us $5,700 for the car minus the $1,000 deductible, puts us at $4,700. They will pay to have everything removed from the car, it won't be at our expense, they'll pay for towing. On the offside is how do you replace a car with $5,000? You don't. I did talk to Castleton. They have agreed to sell it to us prior to your approval. They have a car that's 5 years newer, all-wheel drive Taurus. It comes with lights, equipment, everything, put a radio in it, put the radar on the dash, and it's usable for $3,000. So it was over Joe's purview of the $2,000, so we suggested to talk to you tonight how you feel about taking the 5 in, and then, or 3 out and the 5 back in. We can buy the Impala back and fix it ourselves, but it is a 2009, so it might just be time to try to upgrade it a little bit. So I didn't know how the board felt about that or not. Their car comes with brand new tires on it, seats aren't ripped. It's in pretty good shape. It's a Ford Taurus, it's identical to the other one that we have.
For 3,000?
3,000. It's a Band-Aid, but if we get 3 years out of it or 4 years out of it.
You're getting 4,700 from the,
Yeah.
Should we put that on the agenda to do that? And, just another 2 weeks won't go, right? Will they hold on to it?
So my authority to purchase is 5,000.
You can purchase 5,000, you can just go,
okay.
you can just go make it, so.
The board likes to, cars are different, cars and vehicles are different for the board. So,
Okay.
I can just go, I could just go buy it.
So what you're saying is, you're gonna get 4,700 from the old car. This one's gonna be 3,000, 5 years newer.
It's a surplus car to them because they just got a new Tahoe, so this car's gone. And they're offering it to us for $3,000. They wanted 35, but they found out it was gonna cost over $500 to take all the equipment out of it. So they offered it just the way it sits with everything. Then we just put our radio in it, the lights are all hooked up, functional, it's got a light bar, push bar.
I say do it.
If you're happy, we're happy.
Yeah.
You said if we get a couple years out of it for that price, I mean, how do you go wrong?
Right, especially in this market, you're not buying a car for
Consensus of the board.
or $5,000.
Yeah,
I know.
consensus of the board, everybody's okay with that?
Their Tahoe is 60,000.
Yeah,
Brambles got 60,000 in a Ford Explorer.
we're looking at a new truck in Portland. It's like 75,000 for a new work truck.
Yeah.
That's right.
Bramble ordered their 223 a year ago, and they got it almost like 2 days short of being a whole year to get the car. So they got their brand new 23 and 24. Similar to fire trucks, for some reason it's taken. I don't know if it's the car itself or the upfitting, getting equipment, and same problems we had. Oh, and the Durango is being decommissioned. That's off the road to be sold, so that car will be getting de-striked, try to get it cleaned up and see what we can move that out. So that'll be going, and then the Impala obviously.
Good.
Questions for the chief?
It's good, thank you.
Thank you.
One question, are you actively looking for help, or?
I have, Chris DeVito wants the full-time job, he's just in the military, he's not back till the second week in May.
Oh,
And I'm like, we've gone this long shoestring, and he's level 3, so there's no academy involved, there's no nothing, he can really just, and he's worked here before, so it's pretty much just hit the road, in running, so kind of been waiting on him to come back. I did advertise it, I have not gotten anything.
Okay.
I am a little worried about September, because Sherry's talking about retiring. So I guess we'll deal with that one in September, but, so he is good to go, just a matter of when he actually, I think it's June 5th he's out, but he has 2 or 3 weeks of leave time, so he's trying to leave a couple weeks early to come back and start, so.
Got a quick question, if you don't mind.
I don't.
There's been a lot of discussion about people crossing the sidewalks, crosswalks. They're all hooting and hollering because nobody stops. I witnessed in 3 different cases this week, people standing on the back side of the sidewalk, waiting for the opposite lane to stop, shaking their head because people wouldn't stop. People didn't see them over there. What is that law?
They have to be up at the crosswalk. If they're standing on the backside sidewalk, nobody's gonna know.
That's what I'm saying.
So we're not gonna stop somebody unless you're out at the edge of the crosswalk waiting to go, and they don't stop, then it's a violation of the law.
And if they start across this lane, your oncoming traffic,
Both have to stop.
right, but they gotta be starting across.
Correct.
They gotta be seen.
Not started, but if they're standing there waiting to cross, it's obvious that they're in the
They gotta be
crosswalk.
out where they can be seen.
Correct.
Right. And which is one of the reasons for bump outs.
I hear you. I had I witnessed right here on Grape Street the other night. I sat in the church parking lot waiting for a person to come out of the church. And I'm waiting there, woman's coming across. Now she's waiting for traffic to stop, but she's way over on the sidewalk. And she was hooting and hollering and swearing at these cars that they weren't stopping. I said, they don't even see her over there. You know?
The road
People-
signs we had worked great, but they took up easy.
I know.
It's almost, I think, a sport. to
But
run
I
over.
guess what I'm trying
Going
to
down
say
Polly
is,
too, we didn't have the ones that bolted down, but we'd go out every day and put them back up or chase them halfway down the village and screw them back in. And
I guess what I'm saying is, the people going across these crosswalks are not educated as to what to do. And that is a real issue. And I don't know if we can get the word out there somehow or not, but, you know.
I was, like Main Street, I would love to see them, if they ever, if the revamp project, whatever project goes, that we actually do the lights.
Oh, yeah.
You
Push the button and you get the light
There's a
flashing.
Pow bang, it says there's somebody, at least there's, those 2 intersections are so busy,
Yeah.
and the big one is such a nightmare. I
That,
don't wanna go back to that downtown project, but there's almost no way to police that. There's no bump up, you got people that are coming from in the parking, what looks like a parking spot, and then they're in the middle of the road,
yeah.
And they pass.
and it's so busy there, because people are looking at the Tanny Brook, they're looking in the parking lot, and there's people there, it's that
And
just,
you stop, let somebody go across, and then somebody's passing over here.
somebody coming around.
That's what I'm saying.
That's a good idea with the lights. That works. That they have them on Burlington and Pine Street
But if,
particularly.
in the meantime, if they could just somehow pass a word for these folks, it might help somebody, I don't know.
What's that?
I will, I mean, when we go to cross at the crosswalk, on the corner, I'm wearing big red coat, bright red, and I'm not a small person. I do not stand at the edge of the sidewalk. I am out where I can see traffic. Now, if I can see traffic, I make sure the traffic can see me, and they still go by.
Yeah.
No matter what happens with the project, we need to get those lights,
That's correct.
no matter what.
I'm sure they're not
We need to
cheap.
get those lights.
Joe and I have looked at them, they're a lot of money.
I'm sure they're not. I'm sure they're not cheap. But that may be a part of the solution. Why?
I have just 2 points to make. That corner crosswalk is a dog. If you're coming north and cars are parked right up to the edge,
You cannot see,
waiting
Can't
to
see the
get
person.
into,
cannot see the person standing in front
you
of that
can't
car.
see the person unless they're out in the street.
Right.
If you're going south, you can see them.
If you're looking over that way.
Well, you have to be, that's what that project is to do, is to slow things down. Okay. The other thing is, people at night, now when I leave here, for instance, you leave, people are dressed all in black.
Yes, they are.
It doesn't matter that there is a light there. It doesn't matter. If you're dressed in black and you're just standing there, you can't be seen at night.
I used to walk my dogs in the morning. I was wearing a reflective vest and I was almost hit out in this crosswalk going to the park. I was out in the middle of the crosswalk. They just zoomed right by me and I was wearing, PT belt.
Yeah,
You
that-
can't tell me they didn't see the reflective.
That's not unique to Fairhaven. My hometown, Hardwick, the streets are very narrow because they've done exactly what we want to do. And if you're standing under a street light and you're wearing pitch black, I almost ran into somebody one time turning into Brooklyn Heights where I live. If I had not seen a pair of white sneakers on the ground, they were gone.
Tried.
Throw that anyplace.
I think that's my cue to, is that my cue to shut up?
No,
That's one too.
they weren't on.
That's why we can't have nice things.
Yeah, kids today.
But I really do
Vandal.
think that this project would help. The other thing is, we're concerned about backing into traffic. We're already backing into traffic.
Right.
Down at the south end of the street, in front of Durfee's. If you go to Durfee's and you back out, you're in the street. It's not gonna be any different on the north end of the street. I'm sorry, excuse me.
No,
All right.
it's good input, good input.
All right,
Okay,
we will move on, but with that as a
See you, Sean.
note.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sean. Okay, I'm looking. Looks like it's your turn.
now it's your turn, Joe.
Very quickly, we did get the sewer line on 4th Street flushed out. They did find that there is a portion of pipe that's still damaged or offset. We're gonna run our camera in there to see what's going on out there. There is gonna be more repair on that sewer line though.
Are they have to replace it or is it going to be coated or?
That's a question for Nate, but it's probably gonna be a chunk of replacement, yeah. Still cleaning up 5 and 7 Union Street. We got maybe 6 more boxes worth of junk out there. You guys are doing a good job. We have 5 applicants for the coin drop. That's coming up in April. I just wanted to get this out on camera that the deadline is April 16th. So your request to be on that list for the coin drop is that day.
You've got 5 and there's 4 spots, right?
I got our normal 5, but just in
Yep.
case anybody else is out there.
So, go ahead. I'll ask my question after.
And I talked to the school, must have been Monday. They got a bunch of kids they're gonna let us borrow for their community service day. And my plan right now is to have them clean like this, what I'm gonna call the center of the village. So, the streets, 1st Street, 2nd Street, Furnace, 4th. Just gonna have them start on one side with rakes and shovels and just go right down the blocks, cleaning as they go. We'll see how it goes. The listers, as a heads up, we need a lister. So we'll be advertising for that. If anybody out in town is interested in being a lister, they can send a letter of interest. You can send it to me and I'll get it to the Board of Selectmen.
Just for our folks who are potentially watching in the future, who might not know what a lister is, can you explain what a lister is and what would be required?
So the listers are the folks that come out to your house and they set your taxable value. So they're the ones that tell you, they don't tell you how much you have to pay, they're just telling you what the value of your property is that should be taxed. There's a lot of work come April. There is pay involved in that. I couldn't tell you how much, but yeah, it's a paid position, less than part-time. I have some friends in my hometown and it's very rewarding for them. So if you're interested, again, send a letter.
A question from Rose.
How do the listers affect the CLA, considering what the CLA is going to be doing to the school?
No, all they do is tell the town what a particular property is worth. So they don't affect the CLA, they can't change or do better for the CLA. It has everything to do with what our town grand list is valued at. And that doesn't, they just add and subtract to the grand list. So I guess you can say they do affect it, but they don't have any conscious way of affecting it. They can't say, oh, we're at 79%, so we better raise the rates of somebody's house. They can't do that. They just tell everybody what their house is worth according to a program that they use. Okay, does that make sense? I mean,
Knowing that they have a program
yeah.
that they're plugging things into.
Yeah.
I'm just questioning because of the school budget and how this new Act 127 has brought CLA and the upcoming assessment in the next so many years that state is gonna require. I didn't know how the listers fit into that.
Only that they're telling the state what our grand list is, and they're doing that by viewing property.
Oh, and I was gonna bring up the sidewalk project downtown Fairhaven. I did talk to.
Oh, good.
I did talk to Rutland Regional. I talked to Devin out there, and they were instrumental in really getting this project going. This was ranked the highest in the state when this project was funded by the state. They're very much behind it, and they would like to take part in the outreach. So I just wanted to let the board know that we're going to start working with Rutland Regional to have those discussions with our town. And I believe, gentlemen, that is what I have for you today.
Okay. Questions for the town manager? Moving right along. Appointment of trustees of public funds, right? Is that what that's supposed to be? Yes.
You're looking for some motions?
We've got.
Yes, trustees of public funds. Yes, I need a motion. Mr. Barcelo.
And Jean Tobin?
Yep, and Ms. Jean Tobin would like to be,
Can we do those in one motion, or do you like two separate
See
motions?
why not? Go ahead.
I'll make a motion to appoint Ms. Jean Tobin and Mike Barcelo as trustees of public funds.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Appointment of the zoning administrator.
Make a motion to appoint Phil Adams as the zoning administrator.
Second. Just for comment, the zoning board was unanimous in suggesting that he get another term.
Good.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed?
Who seconded that one?
Rich did.
Liquor licenses.
So you like me to read down, I see you added an additional
yeah,
one,
there was
right?
an added one, yeah.
All right. There's that, and this one here was added at the end. So I wrote it down.
This is also in that list.
Okay.
Oh, wait, I'll make a motion to approve a tobacco substitute endorsement for Global Montello Group, Jiffy Mart Store, 680.
Second.
That'll be the fourth one on the end of the other list. And that last sheet is the last one, yep, that we just gave you.
Glenn made that motion and Mike seconded it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed?
Motion to approve a first-class club license and a third-class club license and an outside consumption permit for the Eagles Club of Fairhaven, Erie number 3907.
The second, Mike, second that again. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed?
Motion to approve a first-class bar license and a third-class restaurant/bar license for Jekyll and Hyde, Inc.
Second.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed?
Motion to approve a second-class license for Brockton Corporation, DBA Shaw's.
Second.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Is that all of them? Is that all of them?
Yes, that's all of them.
Oh, good, okay. Returning grant funds.
Yeah, and this is gonna pair off with the next item on the agenda too, is the approval for the structures grant. And we gotta give Bob credit for this. Bob went to the state, he's been banging on everybody's door trying to find some funding for Scotch Hill. And he knocked on the right door when he talked to Brian Sanderson at the state. Brian told him we did have a structures grant sitting out there that we got 2 years ago for Adam Street Bridge. When I talked to Brian about it, you know, on the off chance that we could use those funds for Scotch Hill, I asked him, can we just do it over here? And he said, of course you can. But what he did say was, if you return this money, because it's already been allocated, he says, you vote to return this money, and then put in an application for Scotch Hill, he says, I'll just give it back to you and you can use it on Scotch Hill. So the request now is to return this structures grant for Adam Street, and then I'll ask for approval to write a grant when you're done with that.
So it's how much, 200,000?
200,000. There is a match of 10%, so it would be a $20,000 out of the paving budget if we're gonna do paving, on Scotch Hill.
So it would be safe to say that we could get up to $200,000 to fix our problem up on Scotch Hill for $20,000.
Yes.
$200,000 worth of
Worth of work for
That's a
$20,000.
pretty good investment.
Well, the area in question is the one that's all sunk in, all the water's laying on the road.
Oh, I'm well aware of that.
Definitely needs some work on there.
Yeah.
There's more to come on that, but we'll talk about that later.
I think important to note for folks too is that this isn't a reflection of us not wanting to move forward with the Adam Street Bridge. It's just we didn't have the additional, $2 million to.
More than that.
And it'll be, it was $2 million back when they gave it to us in
Right.
20, I bet it's.
Essentially, it's about $5 million to fix that bridge now.
Yeah.
And that's been closed down for how many years now at this point?
For a lot.
I think-
Probably we're getting close to 10.
I was just saying, I think I drove on in high school and that was 2009 and it closed down shortly. Yeah, so you're talking.
We're over 10.
Over
Yeah.
10 years. So are you looking for a
we need a
motion?
motion to return that grant.
I'll make a motion to return the $200,000 structures grant that we received in 2022 for the Adam Street Bridge.
I'll second that.
Everybody understand what we're doing?
Yes.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed?
A question. It's return the $200,000, what kind of
Structures grant,
structured?
Structures.
structures grant. I think it covers things like, it can cover bridges, culverts and on that line, yeah.
Head walls.
Now
Okay.
you're
You're looking for a motion to apply for
Apply, yeah.
a structure?
I'd like approval to now apply for another structures grant for Scotch Hill Road.
And this money's gonna be used to fix that sinking hole up
That
there.
would be the most, that would be the
That's the
first.
place we're going in. That's what
That's
we're after.
first. We gotta get that one. That's,
I'll make a motion, we apply for the structures grant.
Second.
everybody understand what we're doing?
Yeah.
Chad? Everybody understand what we're doing? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay.
And to that end, I know Nate has met with Fabian's, and he had another gentleman out there already to get us some numbers for that. So that project's already moving. We just needed the money. It's an expensive fix.
Cool.
The other end of that story is there are 2 road grants that are going to go on Scotch Hill, or not, excuse me, road studies on Scotch Hill. One is a formal one through Rutland Regional. They're gonna set up this summer just to see what kind of traffic is on there, because it's a lot more traffic than people realize. And the other one will be from Alan, what is his name? It doesn't matter. He has money that he can apply towards places like that little dip we have there next to the swamp. One of the criteria is that it has to be the road has to adjoin some sort of water. It certainly is adjoining there. So he's gonna come as soon as it's free of snow, free for several days of snow and runoff and everything, so sometime the end of April. And he'll look, so we may be able to add some more money to that. And he's got money that comes out of the infrastructure, the national infrastructure bill. So it's not as much as you would like to think, but it would be.
Everything helps.
Yeah, it would be tens of thousands of dollars, hopefully. But anyways, there is hope for Scotch Hill being saved at this point. Okay, sorry. All right, so that's both of those then. Anything in the parking lot? Oh, I'm sorry.
I just had a quick question. So the town's matching for all of these funds is the 20,000 that he mentioned?
At this point, yes.
Yes, it's 10% of the 200.
What you were talking about with these other federal funds, is there a matching there?
I don't know enough about it yet to know. And it's not, all they're gonna do is look and see if we qualify, then we would go through the process.
Got it. Okay. I'm sorry, I just.
No, that's fine. That's fine. You remind me of Cindy Adams. She always would say, where's the money coming from? Which was a great thing. Yeah, you should, because it's absolutely a fair question. Yeah. Any reports or anything on the parking lot stuff? I can tell you that the town plan, tomorrow night, we will adopt a working copy of the town plan. So the town plan is on schedule. The next thing we have to do once we adopt it tomorrow, which is pretty much a foregone conclusion unless somebody finds something that's really horrible on the board, we give it to the surrounding communities. They have 30 days to comment on it. Then we have to do a public hearing, which is a 15-day notice. After that public hearing, we bring it to the board, and then I think you have 1 or 2 public hearings with the same kind of announcements. 15 days, I think, for each, but at least 1 public hearing, maybe 2. And if, without too much trouble, June 30th, we should have a new town plan that is good for 7 years. So we're getting there. And then probably we will do our part of the downtown village designation. Okay. Any other local accomplishments besides the girls we talked about?
I was gonna say, do we wanna make sure, could we do something with the select board, is congratulating our girls championship basketball Division II Slater team for an outstanding year?
Yes.
Because I think.
And we did have a wrestler, or.
Right, did really well, Trey Lee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trey Lee. And
Trey Lee came in first in his division, his weight class at States. Gabe Batch came in second in his weight class at states, and I believe Anthony Zabo came in fourth in his weight class in states. So we had a really good wrestling showing as well. I believe also our 5th and 6th grade girls won the Glodzik tournament over in West Rutland. So that's a big to-do. A lot of win-ins for Slaters. That's great.
Good.
And Falcons.
And the Falcons, right?
Fence is painted.
Bruce, yes, park fence.
I would just like to make mention that at Master Snyder's karate tournament, martial arts tournament up in St. Albans over the weekend, our own Makoto School of Martial Arts took 6 golds
Ooh.
in their in the various categories. My daughter being one of them, so I have to plug that, but
Very good.
just
Excellent.
Very
throwing
good.
it out, we got some champions as well, just not in the school.
No, that's great. Good.
And after how many years, our wrestling coach, Mr. Shattuck,
He's retiring.
is retiring after 33 or 30?
He told me 32, but
Yeah,
30 plus.
that's funny. I played rugby with him 30 years ago. Boy, he's devolving. Okay. Anything else, folks?
Well, and our new yoga studio opens up Monday, the 25th,
Perfect.
which is
Oh, that's right.
which is a pretty cool thing.
That's important, because the town helped her with that revolving loan fund. It's,
So,
it's a great program.
Okay,
Doesn't
That's-
it make every one of the storefronts?
I'm
yes.
pretty sure everyone are full.
I think they're all
which
full
don't-
from the-
yeah.
From the bank all the way around to the
Everyone
Wooden
is full
Soldier,
right
or
now.
around to
Yeah, let's keep.
Liberty Street,
let's
all
keep-
the way to the hill,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I might add that Friday night, there was no place to park down there anywhere. The place was full.
Oh,
Good.
was hopping.
Full.
That's great.
It was, they were all doing pretty good, I do believe.
All right. Board roundtable, Rich?
Well, I got a couple of things. Probably this should have been mentioned earlier, but I've had a couple of people ask me why the election results weren't posted sooner, or better, or more of them. And I said, well, I don't have any idea. So I think in the future we should work on that a little bit better. I don't know why they couldn't find them or whatever. But I've had 2 different people ask me.
It probably has a lot to the, when they go to press, when the Herald goes to press, and when we're,
They said they weren't in the paper, they weren't on Facebook,
No.
and they weren't this, they weren't there. and
I'm sure.
They're all trying to hide stuff. I said, I don't
No.
think they're trying to hide anything. It's, you know, I mean, it's just, so I think we gotta do a better job at that.
Yeah, I think it has everything to do with how many write-ins there are,
True.
and when the Herald goes to press,
Yeah.
you know, and then, you know, it's a long day for the people, the town clerk and everybody else, so.
There you go. And then, so that was one thing. The next thing is parking out here. We're gonna pay West Park Place this year. We're gonna do some good work there. And I've kinda come up with a plan to make some more parking there pretty easily. And I just would like to mention it, and maybe we could put it on the agenda for next week. I've got a half a sketch here. I got a better one at home, but I forgot to bring it. But
On West Park Place.
that is correct.
Well, it has to do with doing angle instead of parallel, right?
Correct.
Yeah. That's,
And
makes
that's-
sense.
And it's gonna help us, as we get our meeting space upstairs, more parking's gonna be needed, so that's, I think it's a good conversation to have, Rich.
Excuse me.
You can have one lifesaver.
I got a copy.
Okay.
So, one more thing and I'll quit. The Lumberjack Show. I think you guys trying to do it again this year. But the insurance is plaguing him awful. I know we've tried, but this is just not right for that man to come up with $2,000 for 4 hours of insurance. To put on a lumberjack show to benefit our downtown businesses. It's wrong.
Well, we've gone that route and we haven't been able, it
I know.
hasn't been able to cover it.
The insurance company there is no way we'll be able to cover that. They're just not, they're an outside entity. We may as well cover all of the downtown businesses with our insurance. We just can't do it.
But is there something that somebody can do? Maybe not along them lines, but he's got places that'll write the coverage, but it's $2,000 for 4 hours. Is there money somewhere, chamber, town, can somebody pass a hat to help this gentleman out? Just asking. Throw it out there.
Well, are you like, right, are you saying, I know our insurance company can't cover it, but is he saying, like, if it costs $2,000, whether you pass the hat, or could we find $1,000 that we pay half of the 2,000?
I'm not gonna ever
No.
vote for that.
No,
I
no,
like,
I'm
I
just-
like Brad, but that's it's not a
Okay.
public thing. We're letting him use the park. That's fine
I
and dandy.
understand what you're saying, Bob, but I also understand that we wanna bring in people to Fairhaven. We're talking about
Exactly,
taxes. We
exactly.
talk about everything. We talk about our downtown businesses, help them out. And this is helping them out. And if there's something we can do somewhere, shake a tree or something, I think we should try to do it.
Well, maybe what he should do is go to the local businesses and say,
Sponsors?
I need sponsors, like, along those lines, because they're the ones that are being benefited by that. If we take public funds and give it to one entity, then we owe it to every single person that wants to do anything in that park.
You're right, you're right. I'm just.
That's my fear.
I like Claire's GoFundMe type of a thing here, or something, or there's different ways to come up with.
Just some food for thought. Is this sort of activity akin to a municipality paying for fireworks?
Right,
Is it would it be considered an attraction for the town?
It's not a town organization that's doing it. You know, if we did fireworks, it would be through the town, more than likely. I mean, I'm not an insurance man, but that's my guess where we're getting.
So Rich, in my spare time, I would be happy to start a GoFundMe page, which would make it easier for small donors to give money. But it would be me working. I would just volunteer to help him, and I can do that. That's a few minutes worth of work. But it would be on him to get the word out. Hey, this is the GoFundMe page, donate. The town really can't get, I know he wants, but the town really can't do that. The insurance company has already said no several times.
Yeah, I know the insurance company said no. I'm just trying to
Yeah, figure out how to get.
publicize this, that this gentleman's up against this. And he's doing it for the town, he's not doing it for himself.
It's a nice day. I don't dispute that at all. It's not us. I mean, if the Legion wanted to put the fair back in town, they'd have to pay their insurance. We wouldn't.
I understand that.
You know. GoFundMe, maybe sponsorships, I don't know. There's ways. I know he doesn't wanna sound like he's begging, I know.
I know that, he doesn't want to.
That's not, I mean, we're not trying to do that, we're putting ourselves out
Understand where you're coming from there, yeah.
Got nothing.
You will. Once everybody sees your face, you'll never get through Shaw's without something going on.
Good thing my wife does the shopping and she shops at Aldi's, so.
Put her,
Oh, boy. I think, well, yeah, there's a lot, but for tonight, I'm thinking, I think the last month or so has really demonstrated that the audience and how the audience consumes our information has changed over time and probably more rapidly more recently. And I think about the idea of transparency, and we're very open with everything that we're doing. We hold a lot of meetings that are usually attended by Roseanne. And so it's not really this kind of cloak and dagger secrecy that things happen under. There's no veil, but what I'm finding is that a lot of people are complaining that they're unaware, right? And so I think about how are they consuming that information. And I think our social media footprint as a town is relatively small. We do post some things here and there, but is there a way to expand upon that? Is there a way that we can take on different means of communication to show folks what we are doing? I know the Economic Development Committee is planning to put out an EDC newsletter monthly in the near future. That'll be great for talking about some happenings and some future plans. But how can we demonstrate our transparency better? How can we get this information to the people in
So you probably saw, not to interrupt you, I kind of put a poll out because I noticed that as I was running, and a lot of people said, Facebook, but then a lot of the older generation in town don't use social media.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, said, like a newsletter. And I suggested, well, maybe they can stuff it in, like, sign up with your email, or if you want a physical copy, throw it in with your water bill so you save on postage. Like,
Yeah.
you can get it that way.
Part of the challenge is what sort of human resources are we going to put toward communication,
Right.
and that's a really difficult thing. And so, where's the middle ground? And I don't have an answer today, but something for us to just think about moving forward is, how are we putting out this communication? Ultimately, I see that as a form of marketing for the town to draw in more folks and expand the tax base, but just something to consider.
how soon do we put the minutes in? Approved minutes?
Well, the draft minutes go up in what, 2 or 3 days?
2 or 3 days.
2 or 3 days,
They
but
go-
they're not not approved, but they're up 2 or 3 days.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe, but just so we don't burden you or your staff with a lot more than what they're already doing, if we just put on our site, if we just say that the minutes are posted.
They're there.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just
They're
saying
there.
that
Pretty
the Thursday or Friday that they go in, we just to start, it's not the finish of,
Yeah.
we just say that the minutes are posted. Minutes for the last meeting are posted. It's a small attempt, and it's not gonna reach many more people than it already does.
And I have no problem kind of continuing what I've done even before, sharing them to the
Well,
Fairhaven
if you want-
page,
yeah, if you
from the
wanna
town.
do that,
Just-
that's-
I mean, I know, like, going on the town website and trying to find the minutes, if you don't really know how to navigate, it's kind of a pain and kind of hard to find.
I find it, and if I can find it,
Well, it took me, the first few times it took me a little while,
Except
but
for
now
that
I
old guy.
now I know
except
where
for
to
that old
find it,
guy,
but-
I'm the oldest guy
Yeah,
around.
well, I was gonna, on that one right there, I'd say, the Economic Development Committee is also working for my people. We're talking about a bulletin board. Think of when you walk into Pruners and you see all that stuff pegged up on the thing. Well, when we finish our parking ride at the south end, we got, the itty bitty committee is working together to pick out the bulletin board that we're gonna put down so we can have an actual information that's inside the glass that people, when you're walking to your car or down in the park, you can go over and see what's going on. I think there's multiple,
That's a
the
good
point
idea.
being, there's multiple ways we gotta try. We hear, almost every time we hear that we're not, the transparency concern is because the feeling they don't know. You can't over communicate, so we'll just find as many ways we can to communicate, yes.
Maybe that's something we should also put in with our downtown plan. Have one over on, by the, free parking or whatever you call it.
That's what he's talking about.
Yeah,
But also have one over on the other side of the street, where people do most of their walking.
Or maybe that's where the one goes. Who knows?
right, I mean, the reason, they were
Instead of in the
talking
parking
and
lot,
not putting it in, only because they thought the new park and ride and with the way it was gonna be set up, it was a shorter distance getting across and, but we can, no one says if it doesn't work, we can't have multiple
Yeah.
bulletin boards. But it just, you add again, to who's gonna maintain them, that becomes, but there's opportunity, we'll figure it out.
Now, there's one more thing here too. I'm not on Facebook. I'm a real dummy when it comes to this stuff. But I hear a lot of stuff. They come to me and they say, "Oh, you know, so and so doing this, so and so's doing that." I don't hear that. Well, that was on Facebook. I said, well, don't believe everything you hear on Facebook, because there's two different Facebooks out there. My feeling. You got the real true story, and then you got the Facebook diarrhea.
It's the interpretation of what somebody's mindset is already, is what Facebook does to it. But, yeah, you got more?
That's it.
I'm good.
What did I have? Oh, yeah, we're talking about the lead pipe deal. Could you ask Facebook, or Facebook?
That'll open up a
Yeah.
whole can of worms.
No. Could you ask A&E if they're gonna do a secondary reach out?
Yeah, I'll see.
I'm
what-
sure they are.
They are going to, but I'll see what the
Yeah.
timeline looks like.
Okay. And, we are putting, 2, EV chargers in it? 3, okay.
3 chargers.
Great, okay.
I have a question on that. So, when was the old one taken out? It's been,
Because it costs us money.
well, right, but it's been quite a few years, correct? So why have we had the advertisement coming off the highway into Fairhaven said EV charging has been out of town for, yeah, for a few years at least. You're advertising, and I feel like EVs have become more popular in the last couple of years. And so if I'm out of state and I'm like, oh yeah, EV charging, I drive around, I'm like, well, there's no charger
The
here.
next thing you know, you got a dead battery.
Riding around looking for it, yeah, we should make that clear.
But I've noticed, yeah.
Oh, one other thing it's not related to basic communication, but communication for Fairhaven, that I just heard a number from the information center down there. 600,000 people a year.
For our,
At that,
It's stopping to.
That's
At
stopped
the Welcome
down there.
Center out here.
where's it at? That's much higher than I had ever seen.
100,000.
That's what I heard. Now, I don't know if that's right, but it doesn't matter if it's 100,000. There is a part of that particular building that is open to the town of Fairhaven, to its businesses. They can put stuff down there, they can put brochures, but they can actually set up a little display if they want. It's a huge number, and we're not utilizing that very well.
So is
to
that,
get people
and I don't know much about it, is that a town-owned
No,
property? State?
But
We get, and all we get from that is that opportunity and payment in lieu of taxes pilot, which is about that much compared to what a property that size would get if it wasn't state owned.
Wouldn't that be maybe a good place for the itty committee to do
Yep.
some of their advertising?
Yep, and any town,
they may not even
any
know
town business, well, that's where we need to get that out. Any town business
I didn't
can
realize that.
contact those people down there. They will help you in any way, they will let you, show you where they can set up. I know Cindy Pritchard has gone down, and she's actually set up a little display, and they've actually sold stuff down there. Somebody go, oh, I love that, you gotta buy it, and they call up, yeah, that's what it is. So, it's an untapped resource that we should get people to drive into Fairhaven from there.
Is that Carol, I think Carol Ross?
Yes,
is the contact
yes,
down
that's the
there?
name, Carol Ross, yeah.
You know,
Anyways,
just while you're on that, is maybe like you go to a mall, you have all these businesses.
yeah, yeah,
You could
exactly,
do, you know,
just a
there's
little
this list that
directory,
says
yeah.
Services, restaurants.
Yes, exactly. We could put, and that would be something we could
be
afford to
Right, so
do.
maybe that keep people
Yeah,
to come into town versus giving back on.
exactly, exactly. It's just an untapped
Maybe
resource.
a little strip map,
Yeah.
show them where they are and where they gotta get to
Yeah,
here.
'cause
But
they
also-
all know there's 3 or 4 restaurants, right? with
Right.
that-
Right, all you see is,
And
it-
all you see is coming
And
in
if
is
they
all
know-
McDonald's, you know,
Right,
this, that,
drop
that,
off to McDonald's, but if they come this way and go, go down
Through town.
Prospect Street, you might get a few people. If there's that many people, that's something we should be
The other thing, maybe
tapping.
the town could put up a sign on the other side of the road that says business services, restaurants, food,
Mm.
as you're coming out. Highway, you know, I
As-
mean,
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
as long as it's
Yeah.
not, we can get one of those official state signs,
Yes,
you know?
we have money for that.
Right, I mean, why not? Why not?
There's a
Advertise
lot of people there,
Fairhaven.
a lot of people in it.
Especially since you've got, downtown's full now. I mean, it
Yeah.
hasn't been full in
100 years.
20 years,
Been quite a while.
you know?
Been that long?
It's been a long time.
Yeah, there's
Very long.
I think my parents had the store in the early 2000s. I remember Main Street being full then, and there was a period mid 2000s where
Yeah.
there was
It just
nothing, and then
fluctuates.
within the last 5 years, it's slowly to now it's come back. So somebody that's been around, a little bit compared to some other residents, it's nice to see downtown.
That's exactly why I mentioned last Friday night.
Mandy's Apparel for like a year or two was the old Avashan's building, so where Telgray's weed shop is now, and where Curves and stuff was. They owned that building for a few years.
So there were six of those businesses down there the town of Fairhaven has gotten grants for or given loans to.
Yeah.
So a significant portion of those businesses have been helped by the town of Fairhaven.
And we're more than willing to keep that going.
Yeah, we can keep that going.
Okay. Is there anything else? Roundtable, okay, let's do some financials.
I'll make a motion to approve the payroll for $32,843.35.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed?
Motion to approve the warrant for $217,460.70.
I'll second that again.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed?
The checkbook status is $676,395.51.
Thank you. And we have an executive session for personnel and real estate.
Motion to go into executive session for personnel under 1 VSA 313A3 and real estate 1 VSA 313A2.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed?